Hi, everybody. Welcome to Vancaf's Spotlight interview with Marc Bell and Marmalade Duplex. Before we begin, I would just like to state that this interview is being held on the unceded Coast Salish territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I'd also like to state that Black Lives Matter, Indigenous Lives Matter. We, as Canadians, need to step up and defend and protect these people and their rights. And if you want to learn more information about this, you can check out Vancaf's website and see Wes Harmon's Land Acknowledgement comic for this year's festival, or you can check out mine, Cole Paul's, my Land Acknowledgement comic from last year, which is also on the website. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Marc Bell. Hi, Marc.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good on a hot July day in Vancouver. So the first question I want to ask you, what gave you your idea for the Vancaf poster this year?
I don't know what made me do it, but it was I created a structural composition. I requested to be able to to draw my own logo, because normally it would be an illustration on a Vancaf poster and then the logo would be added later, but I requested that I could, or asked if I could put in the logo or create the text for the poster. Anyway, it's kind of a 6-panel grid turned into a building, sort of similar to the cover that I did for Best American Comics, I suppose, in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect for this year's festival because, everyone had to stay inside and quarantine. So it fit this year's festival really well, unintentionally, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose it did. I think I drew it in December, maybe, or November of last year. So maybe I was anticipating this situation subconsciously. I have no idea. Happy accident.
You're Nostradamus. um, you're a couple years ago when I met you, you were campaigning not the Minions, and
Yeah.
your characters that aren't the Minions are on the poster as well. The little yellow pill dudes. Yeah, exactly.
Can you see that?
Yeah. I'm curious. Like those characters are originally from Shrimpy and Paul, right?
No, actually, they were created in 1993, around there, in a mini comic called Corn Comics. Longer, or well, about three years. Wow, wait. No, yeah, I guess about a few years before Shrimpy and Paul were actually created. So they appeared alongside Monsieur Moustache and Chia Man in this mini comic called Corn Comics #1.
And you've just used them throughout your whole series, like for 27 years or more.
Yes, I've used them for a long time, Cole. They appeared in, I guess they were in Corn Comics #1, where Monsieur Moustache discovers them living in a village and decides to exploit them, which is similar to another more famous story, um, which became a feature film. But it has similarities, the characters in the story. But anyway, and then they appeared again in my comic book, Worn Tough Elbow #1. They're in there, and they're in a strip from Kramer's. Yeah, so they've appeared a lot actually throughout the years.
Did anything come out of you campaigning that like you were the originator of the Minions design?
Well, I don't know if I was campaigning, but the characters were so similar. I thought I should try to do something about it, just to, if anything, bring attention to my characters, because I don't know, feel as though my characters are quite a bit more interesting, and I found the similarity between the characters very, very strange. So I sort of wanted to use it as a way to bring more attention to my own characters.
Yeah, I love the shirt. I got the patch on my my vest right here.
Yeah.
Bumping into you on the street, and you gave me one of those. Proudly wear it every time I wear my jacket.
And I think you have a shirt as well, don't you?
Yes, I do.
A
Yeah.
commemorative Not the Minions shirt.
I thought about wearing it, and then I thought it was kind of too close to the interview, so I chose a Nathan Jones rat salad shirt instead.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so when I first met you, you were doing your Onder Nielsen and Marc Bell Stroppy book tour. And you did a performance at Lucky's where you kicked the ball, and you had a soccer ball, and you were kicking it against the wall, and you were doing spoken word next to it. Did you do that the whole tour, or was that just a Vancouver thing?
Well, actually, you mentioned when we ran through some loose idea of the interview. I didn't correct you because I thought it'd be funny to correct you during the interview. I do that all the time. I mix up things I've seen, but it was actually the kicking the ball was, I was sort of a guest of when Matthew Thurber came.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
that
it was
later.
So it was Matthew Thurber. Matthew Thurber was doing some vocal performance. I think he had a band, or you have a ukulele? See, I can't remember. I think he might have had a ukulele and was performing some songs, and he wondered if I could back him up somehow. So I thought, well, maybe I could use this ball as a percussive instrument. So I kicked it. So I was kicking it against the wall. But then, and then the previous event at Lucky's, which you saw was as well, was Anders and I did a reading from Stroppy for that.
Yeah, that's what I found really interesting about Stroppy was the amount of songs and like anthems that were in the book.
Yeah, they're actually you're talking about the Schnauzer song section at the end?
Yeah, and like there's like they have to write a song for a contest, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Did you when you wrote those songs, did you imagine like all the music that went with them, or were you just like, writing crazy lyrics?
Well, actually, I created a band with Jason McLean, like a fictional band called the All Star Schnauzer Band. So we've created kind of a loose history around them, and I was using them as characters in the Stroppy book. So I decided to use some writing that Jason and I did from this book, Stand Tall Guru, and I used some of that for the Schnauzer Band lyrics.
Yeah, because you had I remember now, you had the band T-shirt, right? Like you were selling a T-shirt with the album cover.
Oh, yeah, that's right. For an album cover that appears in Stroppy called, what is it called? Something Uncooked Zit, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So the fun thing about the Schnauzer Band is the stuff doesn't actually have to exist. We can just make up an album. You'd say, oh, there's a Schnauzer Band album called Uncooked Zit or something else, whatever.
What, like, how does your brain work to, connect uncooked and zit together?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't see it as that strange, but I guess it's just trying to come up with funny combinations of words.
And you've been making Patreon comics too, so
I suppose you wouldn't cook a zit, right? No one would cook a zit.
yeah, no way.
Who would do that?
I think when you cook a zit, it's like you're like boiling it in the shower or something, so you're trying to make it pop.
I suppose that could be a version of cooking a zit.
Yeah. And you have a Patreon, right? And you've been making Patreon exclusive comics.
Well, I think I gave you one of those Patreon zines last year. I was creating these Patreon newsletters. I was trying to do one a month. Sometimes I would miss a month, but I ended up with all this material, which was just online, and it's kind of too much to explain. But I was having computer problems, so I literally was making making PDF newsletters and uploading them. And so my Patreons, I suppose, could open the PDF on the computer and read it, or on their phone or whatever, or they could print it out and read it. And then at the end of the year, I decided to go through all of those newsletters and create a zine. So that's what I passed along to you.
Yeah, it's very tabloid style. I really like that.
Oh, thank you.
Like I was picking up a National Enquirer or something.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think we should talk about hunks. Let's talk about hunks. Brad, Tyson, are you there?
Where are they? Where'd they go?
Yeah.
I think they're connecting.
Hello?
Hello.
I see the top of Marc's head.
That's all you'll see tonight.
See my hand.
Ooh, nice hand.
Oh, yeah. Brad, are you with us?
Oh, I just have how do I have more than my logo here?
I think you'll have to join with video.
Start video. Ah, there we go.
Hey. Great. Okay, just
I
wait.
think you're muted, Brad.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to shut my door so I don't hear your echo. Hang on.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hunks reporting to duty.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, you couple of hunks.
No problem.
So everybody, this is Marmalade Duplex, and
Hello.
they have written an album with Marc Bell called what's it called? Live at the Tuna Olive Garden.
No, but that is my favorite restaurant. Live at the Hunks
Tuna
Plate.
Oliver.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a copy somewhere.
I'm curious, you guys, where did the name come from?
The Ocean, I think. Marc was like the band name or the album name, or both?
Both. First one, then the other.
From the ocean. Marc was standing by the ocean one day, and it just came to him on the waves, I think. He's
No. Brad and I decided it was going to be called something Play the Tuna Olive Village.
Yeah, that's true. And Pudding Palace, or Pudding Plaza was an option, but that was our old band too. So basically, we didn't want to name it after our old band. That would be weird, right? So yeah, so we basically, Marmalade Duplex conjures a lot for us. Basically, I would say it's basically where I'd like to live, spiritually and philosophically. What do you think, Telly?
I was grabbing the record and I didn't hear the question.
Oh, fucking.
Where did the name come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I played the instruments. Brad and Marc had a lot of heated discussion that I think, was it me who sent the picture of all of the weird 70s gelatins? That kind of, I have a weird obsession with, I've been collecting 60s and 70s recipe cards.
Mm.
And Grandma's Sunshine Salad, the first song on the album, was actually a recipe. What did it have? Tuna and like orange slices in it? Some kind of weird sweet and savory gelatin. I might be mixing these things up, but it was something similar to that I think kind of kickstarted the whole pectin craze.
I think that we had already come up with the name, Play the Tuna Olive Village, and then you found those cards afterwards. I could be wrong. However, it was Brad and Tyson who decided to sort of make these first 4 songs, and then they passed them to me to work with. So, I mean, these guys are essentially the foundation of the Tuna Olive Village.
I guess you could say that. We're the city planners of the Tuna Olive.
Right. And like Jello or jelly is like a recurring theme in the album.
Yeah, it's also become like the jelly and the wobbling. It spilled over into the music. It was more like a textural element of the music too. It's like this song needs a bit more wobble to it. It needs a bit of jelly. It's like too straight. It's too it needs to flow a little bit to not be so like on the grid, I guess.
Right.
Luckily, I play only wobble tone guitar, so it worked out perfectly.
Right. Did you put jelly on your belly to record the song?
No, on all the instruments actually. The drums especially, they sound great covered in.
Cleaning it off was such a pain in the ass after. Everything in the studio was just covered in this layer of stickiness that I'm still finding it in places. It's like glitter. It never fully comes out.
I still haven't stopped playing guitar with a marshmallow as a pick.
Wow, that's impressive.
It gets that thick, warm vintage tone. It's very good technique.
There's other liquids too, right? Like Marc plays water on the album.
Well, that's what we wanted to work with him. We knew he had it in him, this gargle.
How is that working as an instrument, Marc?
Oh, Cole, it's a wonderful instrument, water is.
Did you do multiple takes, or you just like one take and you were good?
Oh my, I did. Well, I think we did maybe a couple takes, and Tyson, what else was going on? You were doing something too.
We all actually we all are contributing to the song at the end of the album ends with Marc's character going back to the ocean. And we all played water. I think I had a straw and I was bubbling. You can hear some kind of left and right percussive bubbling. Brad just went crazy and was doing yours were kind of more ambient, but like
seagulls.
Like seagulls. You put it through a bunch of delay, and then Marc was just returning to the ocean, and it's a whole wonderful underwater cacophony that's happening to a Can-esque groove.
The Beatles.
Did you have to use a waterproof mic to record with the water?
Oh no!
We hung it above. We I don't know if that would have worked as well. You need to capture it coming out and going back into the water.
Right.
And also tap. None of this like Kingsgate Mall shit. Tap water.
Yeah.
That's important to know.
No Fiji for us. It wasn't in the budget for this album. Next album, maybe we'll use some fancy Fiji water, or some Perrier.
Yeah, we should chew on leaves for a while.
We'll find a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Well, we've been trying to get sponsorship. Like we tried to get Smuckers for a while, and
I know. I was after Kraft miniature marshmallows.
Yeah, for the picks though, because it's expensive buying your own marshmallow picks. So, like, we obviously need something to get us through this next album. You know?
And they're okay with giving us like a few bags of them, but we really like, you go to a show, the guitarist throws out a guitar pick, it has the logo on it. If it doesn't have the logo on it, your friends aren't going to believe you were really there. But apparently, like, printing onto marshmallows isn't an easy task, and it didn't work out in the end, which is really sad. But
you got to toast
we can't play any shows right now anyway, so I guess it was kind of fortuitous in the end.
You would have been left with like a million marshmallows with the Marmalade Duplex and no concerts to throw them at.
True.
Yeah, exactly. I would have had a bunch of stale marshmallows in my closet. Which,
yeah. Speaking of Kingsgate, you say Kingsgate shit rock on the album. Is that how you define the record?
No, it's not Kingsgate shit rock. We're the opposite of that.
Oh, okay.
But Marc would know. Marc knows what Kingsgate shit rock is. He'll let you know about that. Right, Marc?
Telly, what's your sponsor?
Isn't it salmon? Is he sponsored by?
I think it's Combos. If you look on the back, it's official sponsor of NASCAR and Marmalade Duplex. Only the pizza pretzel version, though. None of the other ones will do.
Right. So this album is like incredibly over the top, and there's lots of like bells and whistles to it. Did you imagine performing it live, like, before shit went down?
We imagined it. Whether or not we could do it is a different story.
I mean, a lot of it started from live jams that were kind of grafted onto a grid and then, augmented. But I mean, I'm notorious for throwing the kitchen sink into everything, but this one, there are a lot of weird things happening, but Marc's way of storytelling is so, like, I didn't want to get in the way of that. So I tried to keep it to only like one or two strange things maybe happening at a time, but it's kind of deceiving in that, like, I guess, like, more like Beck kind of way, where, like, Beck seems really weird, but they're really only like one or two weird things happening in a fairly conventional manner. It's just those weird things have so much character to them, they kind of take over in certain ways.
Right. I'm curious, like, what are your guys' influence on the album? Like, when I was first introduced to Brad, it was through his Guelph Ween Satan cassette, which Marc illustrated.
And Tyson's on there too. Tyson played.
Wow.
On a couple songs.
Yeah, so, like, what are your influences that created the album,
Marillion mostly. There's this song, The Web. We basically based everything on that song. And I like Snakefinger and Para Ubu, Butthole Surfers, all that kind of stuff. So we were trying to go with a bit of a post-punk feel too, but
a bit of no wave in there.
James
I grabbed the saxophone and just thought I could James Chance it, which didn't turn out to be too easy, but I got a few useful honks out of it here and there on the album.
Yeah, I really enjoy, like, the first song is like a post-punk anthem, and it's I really enjoyed that. And then, like, you even go into like funk with some songs.
Yeah, well, Marc likes the funk.
Marc,
Marc's huge into the Doobie Brothers.
Doobie Brothers.
I
Who
had,
said that?
I did not conduct the music.
Well, I'm curious, Mark, what your influences were for your lyrics.
Oh, geez. I mean, people have said they've listened to it and they'll say, "Oh, it's like like a music version of your comics," which I guess makes sense. I mean, me trying to cram in too much, perhaps. I could have cut it back a bit, but it was fun to do. It was a really fun project to be part of. I was really it was really interesting to do something different than what I'm normally used to. And it was like we were kind of building this thing. Well, we were essentially building it in the studio. Like we weren't like these guys were saying they would have kind of rehearsal jams and get some stuff down and build the music, and then I would take that and try to build interesting lyrics over top of it, and then maybe record a demo, or we went through a series of different recording situations, and then once my vocals were recorded, then they would take it and add different things to that. So.
And we jammed once too, when you were in town in Guelph. Mark played slide guitar on 4 of the Channel songs, 3 of which are on the B-side.
And hopefully in the future we can get more of like Mark playing on the record, because I really loved what he added to those jams. His slide guitar playing was on point.
It almost as good as his gargling, but getting there. He'll be there next album for sure.
Yeah, it's such a wild ride to listen to. I listened to it 3 times before this interview, and just trying to like absorb it all and pick out different things, lyrics or the gargling and stuff like that. It's like it's a real trip. And was it like, did you write it as a concept album intentionally, or is that just kind of like how it happened, where there's like story arcs for Mark's character?
We kind of, I don't know I think Mark would know more narratively, but musically we definitely would play off of some of his decisions. So if we didn't have a song done, we didn't want to necessarily go the same direction with the next song, but we wanted to sort of be coherent still, so have a similar feel. Maybe even sometimes we cut loops from various songs into like one song into another song, or so we like a flow. Like Tyson and I really like songs flowing together and making logical sense in the sequencing, but also just the in-betweens, so the world continues. We like that. We like albums, so we basically, everything we do kind of ends up turning into concept album of some sort, I feel.
Yeah, and I'm a real big proponent on limitations actually inspiring more than limiting in the big picture. And kind of, Brad and I are both very omnivorous music listeners who just take in so many things. So even like having like a framework for us, and we've worked together a few times in the past on various projects, and it's like even limiting ourselves to say, like, when we started this, it was like, let's make like a no wave post-punk kind of album. But even with that as like a kind of laser vision for the album, we couldn't help everything else from kind of spilling over into it either.
Cole, I'm curious, you referred to it as a concept album, fair enough. I'm curious what the listener would see as the concept.
Ooh, man.
Turning it around.
The concept. I mean,
Yeah.
what I got out of it is like your friend said, it really feels like a musical version of one of your graphic novels. Like when I read Stroppy for the first time, I was like, I really want to listen to the Schnauzer band, like I want to know what this sounds like. And listening to Marmalade Duplex, it feels like it's sort of the equivalent to that. Yeah, like it's just like the absurdity of your illustrations and the text you put in your work and the way you write things, it really makes music, like you can really make absurd music that speaks on the same level as your illustration, which I find very interesting because there's a history of like bands that have been created from cartoonists, and some of them are really diverse and don't sound anything like the cartoonist at all, but your voice is like so prominent because your lyrics are so similar to your comics.
I think also, I mean, it's interesting too because Tyson and I really are into comics a lot, and Tyson has read tons, and I read a bunch too. And I'd actually say that my guitar playing is influenced by comics. Like, I really, in a weird way, I don't know how to explain that, but I kind of have a very paneled approach to playing. Like, I play a lot of loops and things, and then stitch them together. But I try to communicate ideas between the panels in a weird way.
Right.
One is influenced by Garfield, maybe.
I just want to mention Sadie, Santa's helper, has just joined us.
It's actually Santa's workshop.
Oh, Santa's workshop. Sorry.
That's okay. Am I on the video or no? I can't even tell.
No, just
it's a picture of you on the couch, on your couch.
Oh, what am I supposed to do? Oh, here. Hi.
Oh, welcome.
You can tell none of us have white collar jobs, so we're having to use Zoom over the the pandemic, eh?
Totally. I had to download it.
But wait,
Me too.
let's Sadie, Santa's workshop is one of the triplex singers, one of 3 backup singers on the album Marmalade Duplex Play the Tune All the Village. Sadie appears on the songs Jellied Salad Juggernaut and The Papusa with 4 Brains, as well as Lab Architecture.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
You did a great job too.
Sadie, I have a question for you. You're a librarian, right?
Library technician.
Library technician. Okay.
Yeah.
How does your job translate to singing like backup vocals to Marc's absurd lyrics?
Because the truth is really stranger than fiction, basically. Well, I guess it is fiction. It doesn't really relate, I don't think. But then it's just like the library is really weird, and there's a lot of strange stuff that happens there, and I guess it doesn't make Marmalade Duplex or the Jelly Salad Land that wild of an idea to me.
Right. But we just simply say, hey, can you do some backups on these songs? And then you came over and did it.
For sure. That's exactly what happened.
We made it up. The whole thing, we made it all up.
I mean, I want to, building on that last point of, Marc's comics translating to the music. Like, I feel like the way Brad and I operate is looking back on it, going into it, I wasn't as aware, but going back on it, it's Brad and I like to work in that same kind of obscure, like psychedelic world. But I feel like with Marc's comics, there's always an emotional like resonance that's kind of, or feeling underlined in the absurdity. And I'd like to feel that like the music that Brad and I make has the same kind of comic thing where it's like, I feel like the best Ween songs do that too, where there's like an absurdity, but also like a very poignant, like emotional resonance to them that that like goes past the absurdity and hopefully can like catch people that just aren't into completely off the wall things as well.
Yeah, Ween takes themselves so seriously, and their music is so absurd. And I think it really translates well with their like most dramatic songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually
Or the softer, like more personal ones as well.
Yeah. You guys, you recorded this in Guelph and Vancouver, right?
Well, the vocals, we didn't record any of the music in Vancouver, but I did go there and I engineered some, we did 4 songs, I think, at Marc's place. Pecton's Bungalow, I think, is his studio. But we didn't use one of them. We have one song we will never release called Marsupial. And Sadie's on that one too, but nobody, that's kind of like.
It was cut. Not because of Sadie, but
it's all my fault. I was so bad.
It was Al's fault. I'm blaming Al.
Yeah, Marsupial. He was a dick.
He wasn't good. He put everything in his pouch, like he wouldn't let anybody out of the pouch.
He put the song in his pouch and then ran away, and we couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
Damn, I was gonna say it could be on the next album, but if someone took the whole song and it's gone, then it's just.
If you can find Marsupial and get the song back, maybe it will be. But he's a slippery little guy.
I'm curious about Teddy Bear Dosa.
Oh, you're opening up a can of worms now, man.
I'm curious about Teddy Bear Dosa.
He's playing in a Stockhausen cover band right now.
Do you know him, or he was just a random guy?
No, he's like the best at his instrument in the world, basically. He only played on like 4 or 5 tracks, but it costs probably like $1,000 overall or something. Like, and he did it in like 5 minutes. And he made us back of the album too.
He's a genius.
What's that?
Have you ever seen an Oates Martineau? Is that how you pronounce it? Anyway, I don't envy him having to lug that thing around. It was worth the money. I'm happy we did it, but that was basically the entire album budget.
Wow.
I'm still paying for his hoagie budget. The guy ate like 5 hoagies in one session too.
He was a monster.
What a diva.
Oh my god, hoagies. It's like the weirdest word ever.
Marc, I have a question for you. How do you fall in love with a large sardine?
Wasn't it a half sardine?
Maybe it is.
It was supposed to be a half mouse. No, I think it was a half mouse living in the walls, but then we changed it to a half sardine.
So you're not in love with a half sardine?
Sorry?
You're not in love with a half sardine?
Well, Cole, it's not me in the story.
Your character. Is your character really in love with a half sardine?
Yes, that lived in the walls of the apartment that they'd subletted.
Like, but who isn't? It's kind of like a topical story. Like, aren't we all kind of, in some way or another in love with a half hunk sardine?
It's such a poignant metaphor. I cry when I'm falling asleep thinking about that half sardine metaphorically sometimes. It's beautiful. Marc, Marc's a poet.
At the last minute, I was trying to get it changed back to a half mouse, I think. But these guys are probably just like, oh, stop it.
Okay. Come on.
Yeah, I was trying to get them to dub the word mouse really loudly over.
Yeah, let's go mouse, like over top of his pump.
I think Brad even tried it.
I did. It sounded terrible.
But then we figured it would confuse Marc's branding with the mouse graphic novel too much, and
yeah,
they're so similar already. I don't think we'd want to do that.
But Tyson's making it sound like this is my project or something. These guys started the thing and asked me to join. And then I, you know, put my mark all over it or whatever. But, you know, these guys do things in their own right. Each of them have like, you know, 3 of their own projects on the go or whatever.
I was once an ambient comedian. It's true.
I backed him up.
Yeah.
I've seen your face on a t-shirt, Brad.
Is it?
I own a t-shirt with Brad's face on it.
Marc owns it.
It really was a very much a collaboration, of course.
Yeah. It still is a collaboration. We're still working on stuff. We have a new song that we started like yesterday.
Yeah, we finished it like 2 days ago.
Yeah. We have another EP. We might put out another EP. Hot news, Cole. There might be another EP from all the B-sides coming out. And then an EP after that EP with maybe more.
You can catch Marsupial and add that extra track to it.
Yeah.
No, Marsupial won't be on it. But
His bones are made of dough.
I think we were gonna preview it on. Can we insert like a track to this, or is that hard? Music?
I don't know how to do that.
Can we just, hey Marc, why don't you just sing a little bit of it?
Yeah, sing.
Right now, a cappella style. Salgoof. Isn't that it?
And the fetus stoop commander.
Yeah, have it.
Kind of go. It's kind of the fall meets I don't know, whatever we do.
Oh, man.
Wow.
You guys all have headphones.
Hey, Stephanie's here.
Welcome.
Dean.
Hi.
The Triplex sisters, 2 out of 3.
Yeah, the other one, Dory. She's, I think she's working on her booze trailer or something right now. That's good. So, Steph's here. Hi, Steph.
Hey,
Hi,
yeah.
Steph.
Hey, Steph.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
How's it going?
Thanks for having me. It's going fine. How are you going?
Sweaty.
Nowhere.
35 degrees. I'm in Tyson's apartment because we were jamming some stuff earlier, and it's hot in here.
I remember that place. I lived there for 5 years.
Live in this hunk palace.
Yeah, I was air conditioned, but I turned it off so you wouldn't be constantly interrupted by the humming of it. It's a loud thing.
Steph, I'm curious, what was your involvement with being the Triplex sisters? Like, what songs were you on?
I was on 45 Floors, and what was the other one?
Wobbler and the Squeegee.
Wobbler and the Squeegee.
With the half
Yeah.
sardine.
I guess that song's like technically like the album cover, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of like we're kind of a big deal, I guess. Yeah.
We wanted Steph to sing on it because she's great at singing, but also because she really knows hunk. Like, she's like no other. She's got like, just like.
I sort of got a built-in hunkometer. I was born with one. You know,
Hunkometer.
hunkometer. Excuse me. What's that?
Yeah. That was a good session. Like, we traded vocals for wine, I think, and records. Was that?
Yeah.
That's how we do it, because we spent all the money on Teddy Dosa's instrument, so we needed to actually like pay in wine at that point.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Marc, I'm curious what the difference is between collaborating with an illustrator, say like Owen Plummer, versus collaborating with a musician like Brad.
Well, working with Owen, I draw with Owen, but working with Brad is and Tyson is using audio.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
I was curious if your brain will work differently, you know, collaborating with an illustrator versus a musician.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure if my brain works differently with those two things. Maybe in some way.
I feel like
I'm more self-conscious about the music thing because of my voice, because I hate hearing my voice. It's kind of the same reason I'm hiding my face. Who wants to see me? But I just thought I'd try to be funny. But I don't know if it's very funny.
I'm laughing.
The most surprising thing to me on the album was how good your vocals were. And I mean that in a really good way. I was like shocked. I was like, whoa, Marc's a really good singer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Cole, because I haven't really done much of it.
Yeah, it was really, that's what I asked you about the live shows, because I genuinely want to see you front a band and sing.
When's the tour, guys?
We actually performed our new song Salgoof and the Fetus Stoop Commander in portion right before we got here. We didn't.
Okay.
Are you going to come on the tour? Will the Triplex singers come on the tour when the world opens up again?
Do you really think you could do it without us?
No, we need that thing. We need that triplex sound.
You need 7.
I mean, we had a live show as a prize on the Kickstarter, but no one accepted it, so we had to take it down.
Yeah, it was 20. What was it? 22,000.
It takes a lot of money. Like Teddy Bear Dosa, it does not come cheap.
It was going to be our first live performance, and it was going to be on Zoom, and it was going to cost, I think it was 22,000, but I'm not sure. And the show was to be no less than 20 minutes and 2 seconds, and no longer than 20 hours and 20 minutes.
And we were going to have balloons too.
Yeah, balloons.
Marshmallow picks. All that money was going towards getting those marshmallow picks made.
Right, of course. So necessary. Speaking of which, like, you've already recorded a new song, so are you recording a new album?
We're good. We want to do an EP, yeah. So I think we're going to do another EP, but we're also going to release the B-sides as an EP, I think. But I mean, we have to get, see, some of the Triplex singers haven't signed the contract yet, so they're holding out, I think, for more wine probably. So I don't know.
I gotta stock that booze trailer.
Well, yeah, those are all my questions. So thank you so much, everyone, for taking time out of your day to join me. I feel like this is the first like Marmalade Duplex concert that you guys aren't performing, but this is as close as what we'll get to.
I mean,
we're a while.
These are the only riffing you're going to hear for a little bit from us, I think, but we'll be back.
You want us to send you out with a little, like, do an acapella version of Hunk or something? Or the pizza, maybe? The pizza.
I could try playing Salgoof again.
Yeah, play Salgoof from your phone. That's better than a concert.
You guys want to see my niece's new fishing tackle?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's really cute. What do you think?
Cute.
Can you see that?
Yeah, it looks like candy.
Has she caught anything?
No.
Did Beckett catch anything?
No.
Damn.
Not yet.
Should I play it?
Yeah, play it, Marc.
I don't know if it's going to be too distorted.
We could try it, and I might just tell you to stop.
Okay.
Hold it a little closer.
Yeah, bring it closer.
Bring it closer.
Kind of power box to avoid the permanent display of salvage artworks and a bathroom. An exhibition of salvage artworks. genitalia of genders are presented as pubic nests for birds and their respective eggs. I'm sorry to describe it. You should see it. Salvo and the fetus stoop commander. Salvo and the fetus stoop commander. You know the drill. Stoop commander. Boss. Controlling the unobtainable tobacco and marijuana smoke. Entering the second floor windows. It was beautiful BC, but there was an unspoken agreement. Nothing to do with shit on the back of a toilet seat. Soundproof. And the fetus stoop commander.
Wow, is that the flack I sent you, Mark? That sounded really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think, Cole? Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. I could really tell the Ween vibes were really prominent out of that song.
Do you think it'll be a hit?
For me, yeah. For other people, maybe not.
Good. That's what I was hoping to say.
For a guy who just, smokes weed in his studio, yes, I will love it.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What really made us proud about this album is that our friend Hilbert Papusa really liked it. He's a critic, and he has harsh words for everything. The guy gets 5 out of 5. So that's all that matters.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, he usually gets 0.5.
Yeah, I've seen his reviews too, and he's really scathing to a lot of Marc's work, but for some reason he really liked this album.
Well, I think it's the Three Dog Night influence, because he likes Three Dog Night and Tuna a lot. So the combination of that just won his heart over. And we wrote a song called Papusa, which might be about him also. Not saying too much, but
right.
Anyway, that's all I have to say.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Marmalade Duplex, and we'll see you sometime in the future rocking a concert stage, hopefully.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice to see everybody.
Bye.
Bye. You can buy Marmalade Duplex Plays the Tuna Olive Village on corduroypalace.bigcartel.com/products/Marmalade Duplex Play the Tuna Olive Village. Thanks a lot.